that I'll tell you about in a bit that I'm sure will really horrify you with the way that I work with email.
You might be surprised. I am vastly regretting suggesting email as a topic. It's just I brought it up because it's been on my mind, but it's been on my mind because email has become more of a problem for me lately than it has been when I recorded that episode of Hello Internet like a year ago.
Interesting. I was hoping that was the case.
Oh, you were hoping I was having problems with my email? Great, thanks, Mike.
You won't let me. When you started out with YouTube and the fan mail began, how did you originally treat it and how did it make you feel?
Just as on that episode of Hello Internet, I need to have the disclaimer that I'm going to sound like a total jerk here. But
we're both going to. It's totally fine, Gray. We're in a safe environment right now. We're going to sound terrible.
This is not a safe environment.
It is for the next couple of days.
When you first receive this kind of stuff, it's very nice, but it's also just a validation that what you are doing is appreciated by people. So if you make something and you put it out in the world and people respond in a positive way, that is an indication that you have made something that people like. Because you can't ask people in your life, oh, what do you think of this thing that I've made? Because they can't possibly be objective. The best thing that you can get is positive feedback from someone on the internet who is totally uninvested in your situation. So the fan mail is nice at the beginning because it is part of this positive feedback system. But I don't know. I have always been doing stuff on the internet for a long time, and so I've always just been aware of the email as a... It's very hard even just to deal with emails as though they are from people when they're from strangers. So that's what I mean. It's like the bulk of it is a good signal, but the particulars of any individual email, it can be hard to evaluate what that means. But when you start getting those emails, if you are then making something that becomes increasingly popular, the number of those emails increases. And so the value of any one individually decreases. And as a friend of mine, Derek Veritasium, has said, that the value of positive feedback trends towards zero. That the initial positive feedback is very valuable, but much later on, each additional piece of positive feedback, its marginal utility is almost zero. And that's just a strange position to be in, to be on the receiving end of.
So I'm going to try and dig us out of the problem that can be perceived when talking about this type of feedback.
Okay.
It is not that I don't want to receive feedback and or hear nice things from people about the fact that they enjoy the work that we do. Because I love that. I love to receive it. The problem is, it's not the amount. It is the inbuilt problems with email as a system and email etiquette as a horribly broken thing, which make this type of communication more difficult to deal with. Because one of the problems with email is that there is not a "this is where the nice stuff goes" box. Because all email goes to the same place. All goes into that one email account. Or that one app, which houses the many email accounts that you have. So the problem is, I can't go in there very easily and be like, just show me the nice stuff, and ignore the fact that there's other stuff in there as well. Like, it's very possible for me to set up a filter or to do a search and just to deal with it that way, but it doesn't detract from the fact that there is still all the other stuff. And it's like this mental block where it's like, well, this thing is full, irrespective of what's in there. Because there are mechanisms of feedback that I love, and I know that you love, which can, even in some instances, house as much text as an email can house, like Reddit, for example, which you champion as a feedback method. But it has a very, very different set of inbuilt social rules that make it a more welcoming place to receive feedback for me and you.
Mhm.
And I feel the same about this way with Twitter as well. Because email has a social responsibility to it of replying.
Mhm.
Because people draw from email, or that the ideas of email came from letters, right? Physical letters. And when someone wrote you a letter, you would write them a letter back. Because when this correspondence kind of thing began, it was like, well, that's the main amount of letters.
I'm not that dumb. Hate this map for deathmatch. Shh, shh. My stuff is slightly better than his. GG. 1301.